Speaking to the issues of the day.
Thank you. Senate will come to order. Mr. Carpenter, please call the roll.
Senators Aguilar, Baumgardner, Cook, Coram, Court, Crowder, Donovan, Finberg, Fields, Garcia, Gardner, Guzman, Hill, Holbert, John, Jones, Kagan, Kafalis, Kerr, Lambert,
Excused.
Lumber, Marble, Martinez Humenic, Merrifield, Moreno, Neville, Priola, Scott,
Excused.
Smallwood, Sonnenberg, Tate, Todd, Williams, Zenzinger, Mr. President.
Here. 33 present, 0 absent, 2 excused. We have a quorum. Senator Kagan. Please come and lead us in the pledge.
Colleagues, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Approval of the journal. Senator Coram. Senator
Thank you,
Coram.
Mr. President. I move the reading of the journal for February 8th be dispensed with and approved as corrected by the Secretary.
You've heard the motion. Is there any objection? Seeing none, the motion is adopted. Committee reports.
February 8, 2018, Committee on Finance, after consideration of Mayor's Committee Articles following, Senate Bill 103 be referred to Committee of the Whole. The favorable recommendation be placed on the consent calendar. February 8, 2018, Committee on Finance, after consideration of Mayor's Committee Articles following, House Bill 1079 be referred to the Committee of the Whole. The favorable recommendation be placed on the consent calendar. February 8, 2018, Committee on Agriculture, Natural Resources, and Energy, after consideration of Mayor's Committee Articles following, Senate Bill 134 be amended as follows. As so amended, be referred to the Committee of the Whole. The favorable recommendation be placed on the consent calendar. February 8, 2018, Committee on Health and Human Services, after consideration of Mayor's Committee Articles following, Senate Bill 162 be referred to Committee of the Whole. A favorable recommendation. February 8, 2018, Committee on Health and Human Services, after consideration of Mayor's Committee Articles following, Senate Bill 164 be amended as follows. As so amended, be referred to Committee of the Whole. The favorable recommendation be placed on the consent calendar. February 8, 2018, Committee on Health and Human Services, after consideration of Mayor's Committee Articles following, Senate Bill 131 be amended as follows. As so amended, be referred to the Committee of the Whole. The favorable recommendation be placed on the consent calendar. February 8, 2018, Committee on Health and Human Services, after consideration of Mayor's Committee Articles following, Senate Bill 129 be amended as follows. As so amended, be referred to the Committee of the Whole. The favorable recommendation placed on the consent calendar. February 8, 2018, Committee on Health and Human Services, after consideration of Mayor's Committee Articles following, Senate Bill 148 be referred to the Committee of the Whole. The favorable recommendation. February 8, 2018, Committee on Health and Human Services, after consideration of Mayor's Committee Articles following, Senate Bill 22 be amended as follows. As so amended, be referred to the Committee of the Whole. The favorable recommendation.
Senate Services.
Correctly engrossed, Senate Bill 82, 87, 104, 124, 126, and 135. Correctly re-engrossed, Senate Bill 2 and 9. Correctly enrolled, Senate Joint Resolution 4.
Message from the House.
The House has passed on third reading and transmitted the revised statutes. House Bill 1066, 1159, 1160, 1161, 1162, 1163, 1164, 1165, 1166, 1167, 1168, 1169, 1170, 1173, 1105, 1041. The House has passed on third reading and transmitted the revised statutes. House Bill 1171, 1050, amended as printed in the House Journal, February 7, 2018.
Message from the Reviser.
We herewith transmit without comment House Bill 1041, 1066, 1105, 1159, 1160, 1162, 1163, 1164, 1165, 1166, 1167, 1168, 1169, 1170, and 1173 without comment as amended. House Bill 1050, 1161, 1171.
Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the Senate proceed out of order for a moment of personal privilege.
The motion before the body is for the Senate to proceed out of order for a moment of personal privilege. All those in favor say aye. All opposed, no. The ayes have it, and we'll proceed out of order. Senator Hill.
Thanks, Mr. President. Happy Friday to you, sir. I request a moment of personal privilege, please.
Granted.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, will you join me? I've got a tribute here. We have Director General Jerry Chang, his assistant Shirley, and several other guests. Director General is the head of the Taipei Economic and Cultural Office here in Denver, representing Taiwan. We've put together a tribute for them. I'd like to read that very briefly and make a couple remarks, but it says, the members of the Colorado Senate celebrate the sister state relationship of enduring friendship and international cooperation that has existed between Colorado and Taiwan since 1983. Over the past 35 years, Taiwan and the state of Colorado have fostered a strong partnership dedicated to trade and cultural exchange. Colleagues, I didn't know this, but as of 2016, Taiwan is Colorado's 4th largest trading partner in Asia and Colorado's 8th largest trading partner worldwide. Taiwan's rich culture and robust economy continue to add to the cultural diversity and economic dynamism of the state of Colorado. In addition, Taiwan has distinguished itself as a responsible stakeholder and contributor in the international community and is seeking to meaningfully participate in the World Health Organization, International Civil Aviation Organization, and Interpol. As such, the Colorado Senate proudly commemorates the 35th anniversary of sister state relations in support of Taiwan's mature, vital democracy, and appropriate participation in international organizations impacting the health, safety, and well-being of its people this day of 9th of February. And colleagues, part of the reason we offered it today is 1 week from now, it will be the end of the Year of the Rooster. Chinese New Year's a week from now, start the Year of the Dog, and I'm sure they would love to invite you personally to New Year's celebrations. If you would like to go say hello, keep them in your prayers. The folks of Taiwan, there's 6.4 magnitude earthquake on Tuesday. Sadly, 10 folks lost their lives, so appreciate your prayers on that. And maybe on a lighter note, talk about economic and cultural diversity. In 2015, The best single malt in the world, according to the World Whiskey Bible, was Taiwan's the Kavalan Soloist. So it is phenomenal, well-deserved award. Anyway, colleagues, if we'll please welcome Director General Jerry Chang.
Thank you, Senator Hill, and welcome. Thank you for being here today. Majority Leader Holbert.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the Senate recall Senate Bill 2 from the House for the purpose of reconsideration.
The motion is to recall Senate Bill 2 from the House for the purpose of reconsideration. Majority Leader Holbert.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members, I am here to admit a mistake and thank staff from the other side. It wasn't until the afternoon that it was pointed out to me that I voted no on a bill that I'm a co-sponsor on, and I want to thank the good senators, the co-sponsors, the bipartisan work that went into this, the folks outside the chamber. I believe that it was Senate Bill 9, and it didn't have a House sponsor on it, and we were trying to resolve whether it did or didn't. But I am asking for your support to bring back Senate Bill 2 from the House so that we would have an opportunity to reconsider it, and I would be a yes vote on the bill, and I thank the sponsors and supporters for their work. I ask for an aye vote.
The motion is to recall Senate Bill 2 from the House for the purpose of reconsideration. All those in favor say aye. All opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion is adopted. The bill will be recalled. Third reading of bills, consent calendar. Mr. Carpenter, would you please read the titles to all the bills on the third reading of bills consent calendar?
Senate Bill 135 by Senator Gardner and Representative Carver concerning updates to the Colorado Code of Military Justice. Senate Bill 87 by Senator Finberg and Representative Michelson Janae concerning in-state tuition at institutions of higher education for certain foreign nationals legally settled in Colorado. Senate Bill 126 by Senators Grantham and Guzman and Representatives Pabon and Van Winkle concerning the definition of a traditional large and premium cigar for purposes of excise tax on tobacco products. Senate Bill 124 by Senator Hill and Representative Pabon concerning the removal of the 30-day waiting period related to the sale of imported alcohol beverages.
Majority Leader Holbert.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senate Bill 135 will be removed from the third reading of bills consent calendar at the request of the sponsor. I believe the sponsor will have a dreaded third reading amendment. Mr. President, since I will remove Senate Bill 135 from the consent calendar and ask to be listed after Senate Bill 104 under third reading of bills final passage.
Senate Bill 135 will be removed from the consent calendar and placed at the end of the third reading of bills calendar.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the remaining three bills on the third reading of bills consent calendar, Senate Bill 87, 126, and 124.
Motion before the body is the adoption of the three bills on the third reading of bills consent calendar. Are there any no votes on any of the bills on the third reading of bills consent calendar? With a vote of 33 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, 2 excused, Senate Bill 87 is adopted. Co-sponsors: Senator Zenzinger, Senator Fields, Senator Todd, Senator Merrifield, Senator John, Senator Guzman, Senator Fields, Senator Court, Senator Marble, Senator Hill, Senator Crowder, Senator Baumgardner, Senator Sonnenberg, Senator Lundberg, Senator Martinez-Humenick, Senator Gardner, Senator Priola, Senator Cook, Senator Jones, Senator Garcia, Senator Tate, Senator Donovan. Please add the President. With 33 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, 2 excused, Senate Bill 126 is adopted. Co-sponsors: Senator Marble, Senator Crowder, Senator Baumgardner, Senator Sonnenberg, Senator Gardner. With 33 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, 2 excused, Senate Bill 124 is adopted. Co-sponsors: Senator Tate, Senator Smallwood, Senator Neville, Senator Marble, Senator Cook, Senator Crowder, Senator Moreno, Senator Todd. Please add the President. And Senator Guzman, Senator Kerr, Senator Baumgardner, Senator Martinez-Humenic. We're on Senate Bill 124, co-sponsors. Third reading of bills, final passage. Mr. Carpenter, would you please read the title to Senate Bill 82?
Senate Bill 82 by Senator Zenzing and Representative Kennedy concerning a physician's right to provide continuing care to patients with rare disorders despite a covenant not to compete.
Senator Zenzinger.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move Senate Bill 82 on third and final reading and ask for an aye vote. And if I could speak to it just very briefly, what this bill does is it exempts physicians who treat patients with rare disorders, much like Gracie here and her family, who came to testify on this bill. And it's a good bill, and I would appreciate your aye vote. Thank you.
Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, the motion before the body is the adoption of Senate Bill 82. Are there any no votes? Senator Marble. With 32 ayes, 1 no, 0 absent, 2 excused, Senate Bill 82 is adopted. Co-sponsors: Senator Kafalas, Senator Donovan, Senator Moreno, Senator Fields, Senator Kagan, Senator Court, Senator Kerr, Senator Guzman, Senator Jones, Senator Williams, Senator Todd, Senator Merrifield, Senator John, Senator Hill, Senator Martinez-Humenic, Senator Tate, Senator Aguilar, Mr. Carpenter, would you please read the title of Senate Bill 104?
Senate Bill 104 by Senator Donovan concerning a requirement that the Broadband Deployment Board file a petition with the Federal Communications Commission to seek a waiver from the Commission's rule prohibiting a state entity from applying for certain federal money earmarked for financing broadband deployment in remote areas of the nation.
Senator Donovan.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move on third and final reading, Senate Bill 104, and ask for an aye vote. Thank you.
Is there any further discussion on Senate Bill 104? Motion before the body is the adoption of Senate Bill 104. Are there any no votes? Senator Sonnenberg, Senator Baumgardner, Senator Neville, Senator Marble, Senator Cook. No votes on Senate Bill 104. Majority Leader, no? Okay. Senator Lundberg, Senator Smallwood. With 26 ayes, 7 noes, 0 absent, 2 excused, Senate Bill 104 is adopted. Co-sponsors: Senator Coram, Senator Merrifield, Senator Priola, Senator Crowder, Senator Todd, Senator Williams, Senator Fenberg, Senator Moreno, Senator Kagan, Senator Jones, Senator Zenzinger, Senator Fields, Senator Kafalas, Senator Aguilar, Senator Guzman, Senator Martinez-Humenic, Senator Tate. Mr. Carpenter, please read the title of Senate Bill 135.
Senate Bill 135 by Senator Gardner and Representative Carver concerning updates to the Colorado Code of Military Justice.
Senator Gardner.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move Senate Bill 135 and request permission to offer the dread third reading amendment.
Please explain the need for a third reading amendment.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members, this is the bill to update the Colorado Code of Military Justice, and when it was originally drafted, there was a potential appropriation, and so we had a potential appropriation clause. There is no appropriation needed, so the reason for offering the third reading amendment is to remove that potential appropriation clause, and I would ask permission to offer that amendment.
Permission must be granted to offer a third reading amendment. The motion is to offer permission for a third reading amendment. All those in favor say aye. All opposed, no. The ayes have it, and permission is granted. Senator Gardner, excuse me, there is an amendment on the desk. Mr. Carpenter, would you please read Amendment 1 to Senate Bill 135?
Amendment L00.
Senator Gardner.
Thank you, members. As I explained in requesting permission, this amendment, I move L001, and this amendment will strike lines 5 through 12 on page 21, which is a potential appropriation clause which is no longer needed. And once again, I do move L001.
Is there any further discussion on Amendment L001? Seeing none, the motion before the body is the adoption of Amendment L001. Are there any no votes? With 33 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, 2 excused, Amendment L001 is adopted. To the bill, Senator Gardner.
Thank you. And members, this is the update of the Colorado Code of Military Justice. It came out of judiciary unanimously, and I ask for an aye vote.
Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, the motion before the body is the adoption of Senate Bill 135. Are there any no votes? With 33 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, 2 excused, Senate Bill 135 is adopted. Co-sponsors, Senator Crowder. General orders, second reading of bills, consent calendar. No consent.
Bad day, huh?
Senator Cook.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the Senate resolve itself from the Committee of the Whole for consideration of general orders, second reading of bills, consent calendar.
Motion before the body is for the Senate to resolve itself from the Committee of the Whole for consideration of the general orders, second reading of bills, consent calendar. All those in favor say aye. All opposed, no. The ayes have it. The Senate will resolve itself from the Committee of the Whole for consideration of the general orders, second reading of bills, consent calendar. Senator Cook will take the chair.
Thank you, Mr. President. The committee will come to order. The court rule is relaxed. Senate Majority Leader Holbert. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. Mr. Carpenter, please read the titles of all the bills on the second reading of consent calendar.
Senate Bill 122 by Senator Martinez Huminick and Representative McKean, concerning clarifying that certain deputy sheriffs may serve without attaining certification from the Peace Officers Standards and Training Board. Senate Bill 127 by Senator Martinez Huminick and Representative Thurlow, concerning the repeal of the Department of Revenue's requirement to publish an historical explanation of income tax rate modifications enacted in the state on every income tax return form. House Bill 1031 by Representatives Melton and Ransom and Senators Cook and Jones, concerning employer entry into the Fire and Police Pension Association defined benefit system. House Bill 1022 by Representatives Sias and Kraft Tharp and Senators John and Neville, concerning a requirement that the Department of Revenue issue a request for information for an electronic sales and use tax simplification system.
Senate Majority Leader Holbert.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move the bills listed on the general order second reading of bills consent calendar, consisting of Senate Bill 122, Senate Bill 127, including the Finance Committee report, House Bill 1031, and House Bill 1022.
Is there any discussion on any of the committee reports? The motion for the body is the adoption of all the reports on the bills on the general order second reading of bills consent calendar. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Ayes have it, and the committee reports are adopted. Is there any discussion on any of the bills on the consent calendar? The motion for the body is the adoption of the bills on the general order second reading consent calendar. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Ayes have it, and the bills are adopted. Majority Leader Holbert.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move the committee rise and report.
The motion for the body is to rise and report. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Ayes have it. The committee will rise and report.
Senate will come back to order. Senator Cook.
Thank you, Mr. President. The committee has met and had a number of bills under consideration. Will the clerk please read the report?
Mr. President, your committee of the whole begs leave to report as out on consideration of the following tax bills being the second reading thereof, makes the following recommendations. Number 1, Senate Bill 122, Senate Bill 127 is amended, passed in second read order, and grossed and placed on the calendar for third reading and final passage. House Bill 1031, House Bill 1022, passed in second read order, revised and placed on the calendar for third reading and final passage.
Senator Cook.
Mr. President, I move for the adoption of the report.
Motion before the body is the adoption of the report to the committee of the whole. Are there any no votes? With 33 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, 2 excused, the committee of the whole report is adopted. Senate Bill 122, Senate Bill 127 as amended, passed on second reading in order to engross and place on the calendar for third reading and final passage. House Bill 1031, House Bill 1022, passed on second reading in order to revise and placed on the calendar for third reading and final passage. General orders, second reading of bills. Senator Cook.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the Senate resolve itself into the committee of the whole for consideration of general order, second reading of bills.
Motion before the body is for the Senate to resolve itself in the committee of the whole for consideration of the general orders, second reading of bills calendar. All those in favor say aye. All opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the Senate will resolve itself in the committee of the whole for consideration of the general orders, second reading of bills calendar. Senator Cook will take the chair.
Thank you, Mr. President. The committee will come to order. The court rule is relaxed. Mr. Carpenter, please read the title to Senate Bill 102.
Senate Bill 102 by Senators Tate and Zinzinger and Representatives Hooten and Thurlow concerning the requirement for an odometer reading when a motor vehicle's identification number is physically verified.
Senator Zinzinger.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We move the committee report for Senate Bill 102.
To the committee report.
We just essentially put the bill number in the bill.
Is there any further discussion on the Transportation Committee report? What's that? Okay, would you also please move the bill, Senator Tate?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We move Senate Bill 102 and the committee report.
Okay. Is there any further discussion on the Transportation Committee report? Seeing none, the motion for the body is the adoption of the Transportation Committee report. All those in favor say aye. The aye has it. Any noes? The aye still has it. Committee report is adopted. Majority Leader Holbert? Yes, we're going to go to the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Members, I blurted out a moment ago, it's not on consent. I was looking to this bill. This bill should have been on the consent calendar. The committee report did not include that notation. I'm not sure if that was the staffer or what, but I want to thank the bill sponsor for bringing that to staff's attention and mine yesterday. The minority leader and I, under the rules, could have conferred and put this back on the consent calendar, but we wouldn't have been able to hear it until Monday. We thought it was more expeditious to go ahead and have this on the general order second reading of bills consent calendar. Just wanted to note the sponsors did have unanimous support through the committee, and it should have been on the consent calendar but was not. This way we can get the bill through quickly and ask for an aye vote.
Any further discussion on Senate Bill 102? The motion for the body is the adoption of Senate Bill 102. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and Senate Bill 102 is adopted. Majority Leader Holbert.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move the committee rise and report.
Motion for the body is for the committee to rise and report. All those in favor say aye. All opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the committee will rise and report.
Senate will come back to order. Senator Cook.
Thank you, Mr. President. Your committee has met and had a bill under consideration. Will the clerk please read the report?
Mr. President, your committee of the whole begs leave to report as had on consideration the following attached bills being the second read thereof, makes the following recommendations. Number 1, Senate Bill 102 is amended, passed the second read order, and grossed and placed on the calendar for third reading and final passage.
Senator Cook.
Mr. President, I move for the adoption of the report.
Motion before the body is the adoption of the report to the committee of the whole. Are there any no votes? With 33 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, 2 excused, the committee of the whole report is adopted. Senate Bill 102 is amended, passed on second reading in order to engross and place on the calendar for third reading and final passage. Change in sponsorships. Representative Carver will be removed as House Joint Prime Sponsor on Senate Bill 1. Senator Scott will be added as Senate Joint Prime Sponsor on Senate Bill 5 with Senator Donovan and Representative Roberts. Message from the House.
In response to the request of the Senate for the recall of Senate Bill 2, the bill is transmitted herewith.
I think that's about the fastest the House has ever worked in there. Never mind. Announcements. Senator Donovan.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, I have 3 special guests with me today on the floor that I hope you'll help me recognize. They are joined us from Western and Gunnison, and they are 3 members of the student council there. They've been elected by their peers to work on issues down there. And so please join me in recognizing and welcoming members of the student council of Western.
Senator Kafalas.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good morning, colleagues. I wish to draw your attention to a flyer that is on your desk. The first meeting of the Colorado Children's Caucus will take place on Monday at 12 p.m. to 1:15, and the information, it's in SCR 357. There'll be 2 presentations on Monday. One is regarding the plight of youth who are homeless, and the second one is in regard to best practices in our child welfare system. Hoping that you can make it. It's helpful to RSVP because box lunches are provided. Thank you.
Senator Todd.
Thank you, Mr. President, and happy Friday, everybody. I want to invite you to the Aerospace and Defense Caucus Lunch on Monday, and the topic is on cybersecurity. This is an area of interest, particularly for our friends from Colorado Springs, but also for us as a state for coming and hearing from industry and business about cybersecurity. So come and join us. Be across the street at noon, and all about aerospace and defense for Colorado. Thanks.
Senator Martinez-Humenick.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, the Joint Technology Committee will be meeting upon adjournment in Senate Committee Room 352.
Senator Gardner.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. and Mrs. Colorado and all the ships at sea, those who watch the Colorado Channel and those who would follow our calendar. I am using my outdoor voice to broadcast to the entire state of Colorado. I would note to the senator from unincorporated Jefferson County. Senate Bill 56, Civil Jurisdiction of County Courts and Filing Fees, is scheduled for Monday. It will be moved to Wednesday, February 14th in Judiciary Committee. So once again, Senate Bill 56 by Senator John will move from Monday to Wednesday. Thank you, Mr. President.
Senator Kerr.
Thank you, Mr. President, and everyone in Colorado. I don't think this is for the ships at sea, but if you took your bike to sea with you, it'd be for you as well. Thank you to everyone who participated in Winter Bike to Work Day today. I know that the minority leader rode her bike in today, as did I, and thank you to anyone else who did. This is a day meant to show that in places like Colorado, you can still get on your bike and ride even in the middle of winter and all year round, and it's a great, healthy, and environmentally friendly way of commuting to work. So thank you for everyone who commuted to work on their bikes today.
Senator Corum. Senator
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you for the work day. Anybody can remember where I left my three-wheeler, contact me ASAP.
Majority Leader Holbrook.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, members, we were discussing whether we need to move to lay over Senate Bill 2 because the House was so efficient in getting it back to us, just in the interest of making sure we have all of our I's dotted and T's crossed. I move that we lay over Senate Bill 2 till Monday, and that it will be reconsidered on that day.
Motion is to lay over Senate Bill 2 till Monday, February 12th. Is that correct? All those in favor say aye. All opposed, no. The ayes have it, and that will be laid over. Any other announcements? Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members, we will not have bills to read over later today, so we will adjourn. Mr. President, I move the Senate adjourn until 9 a.m. Monday.
10 a.m.
That's right. Gosh, caucus meeting. So, Mr. President, I move the Senate adjourn until 10 a.m. Monday, February 12th.
The motion is for the Senate to adjourn until 9, did you say 10? 10 a.m., February 12th. All those in favor say aye. All opposed, no. The ayes have it, and we will be adjourned.